Okay, this is my review of Godzilla versus Kong. Watched it a couple days ago. Um, so to start off, I always want to dislike American movies, especially if they're an adaptation, if they're original, but if they're an adaptation of something I'm a fan of, I typically want to dislike them. Whether it's a Japanese property or their own property, because they can't usually do their own shit right either. Like if it's an adaptation from a video game or something. I usually go into it negatively and come out of it negatively. So I wanted to dislike this movie. I really didn't. Um, this movie was stupid as fuck. Uh, but not in any way that, like, the monster movies haven't always been stupid. Like, there was advanced technology and shit that just it didn't translate well from what we've seen of like Godzilla King of the Monsters. Like Monarch was a thing, but they didn't have a goddamn intercontinental superhighway with fucking magnet rails in that, or a goddamn ability to make a fucking atomic laser, but they do now. And I would complain about that, but honestly, I can't because the originals did that anyways, and you kind of need it. You have to embrace. You already have giant fucking monsters, so you kind of have to embrace that shit. The magic radiation axe, that I guess is a Godzilla scale, is stupid and contrived. But it's not really. It doesn't like do anything in the end, so I don't really care. If it killed Godzilla and just nullified his atomic breath entirely, I would, criticize it, but it doesn't. It's just there to give Kong a little more time to fight, so I don't care. This movie, it's not good, but it's also not bad. It's certainly the best of the legendary monster movies thus far. So this is gonna be a weirdly positive review with like whatever negatives I can throw in there thrown in. Only seen this movie once. Don't have any notes, so this is just off the cuff. From what I remember, there's I wasn't really paying attention for the first 20 minutes, because we had human stuff going on. Actually, no, we open with Kong, don't we? I don't remember if we opened the laboratory with the black dude or with Kong. But I'll start with the black dude. There's a black dude. He's like overweight. I think he was like British at one point, and then he wasn't. So he's like, people had weird accents going all over the place in this movie. He fucking he's in like some facility. He's snooping around and stuff, and I think he's talking to a dude. The dude gets up. He gets on his computer to steal information, and then Godzilla attacks the facility. So then he's running away, and he almost gets caught by some security guards, and then they die. And then we see there's a big personality core from Portal. It's like got the glowing circle. It's an orb. It's got two big things. Kind of also like the Oracle from Halo. It's all kind of like that type of a deal. And then Godzilla's just like attacking the city and stuff, doing Godzilla things, which is better than what we've seen. As I've said before, the monsters need to act like monsters, and Godzilla's acting like a monster, so that's fine. That's better than the other movies thus far. And then Kong is on a fucking island, and there's a little girl, and that's kind of stupid, because unless she's got fucking mystical powers, like the fucking fairies with Mothra, which they already fucked that up. There's no reason for him to give a fuck about this little girl, but apparently he does, and they communicate with sign language and shit. He throws a tree into the sky and hits a fucking fake sky, and then we see there's like a dome on Skull Island for some fucking reason. and that's where Monarch is, and they're monitoring him and stuff. And they're trying to hide him from Godzilla, I think was the point of the dome or something. Later, they like mentioned that a storm hit the island and wiped out all the indigenous people, which is fucking stupid because this is King Kong and he's on Skull Island, and the whole point is that he's king of the island. It's a contrived fucking way to move him off of the island. And oh shit, oh god, I just remembered Hollow Earth. Oh fuck. Oh god. Alright, well, we'll get there eventually to Hollow Earth because there's a whole thing about that. But right now, you gotta get Kong off of. I guess the fucking dome is failing or something. I don't know. Don't have any fucking idea. But they move him off of it, and they're wanting Godzilla to not find him. Shit. Then at one point, this guy says that we need Kong to locate the power source. And I don't know what the fuck he was referring to, because like I said, I didn't really pay too much attention for the first 20 minutes. But he says that, so I don't know what I guess the point of having Kong was to have him show them how to get into Hollow Earth. I don't know, but I guess that was the motivation. But they're moving him on a boat. And then we get some really bad CGI with, well, not bad, but noticeable CGI. King Kong is like eating some fucking fish, and it looks like a scene out of a video game where like it doesn't look quite right. That was noticeable to me. I think that was just probably because like the first Godzilla movie and the second one had like 4 years between them. And then Kong Skull Island was in the middle there. Then this movie was like, what, 2-3 years after the King of Monsters, and was obviously going to need more CGI. So I think that the addition of more CGI meant that maybe they didn't have enough time to polish it up, because there was noticeable bits of CGI that just looked janky. They weren't bad CGI. They're still good, because Legendary's pumping all the money in the world into this. It was just noticeable. You know, it stuck out. Like I said, it looked like a scene out of a video game more than a scene out of these movies. And then obviously we get to the trailer shots, and those look phenomenal. Probably the best looking shots in the whole movie, the trailer shots with the first fight between Godzilla and Kong. I forgot to mention earlier, the scene with King Kong on the island, on Skull Island, had some stupid music, I think, and that was pretty bad. The music on the boat was alright. We get like a storm, and we get the whole thing about King Kong can use sign language, which is stupid. And then Godzilla attacks. He's blowing up everything. They're hitting him with naval batteries, and naval batteries hurt him, which is good, because they should. They should easily be able to, well, not easily, but they should be able to punch into his fucking scales a bit. Fight's alright. I just remembered the big bit of criticism I had here. I don't remember too much of it. I remember it more from the trailer where like King Kong punches him in the face and shit. Is grappling with him. But Godzilla, you know, bites him some, I think, and stuff. He fights the Navy. Some jets fight him, and his tail blows him up and shit. He ends up blasting the aircraft carrier with atomic breath. Actually, when Godzilla's first coming to save the girl, he like jumps from the cargo platform he's on, which I'm not even sure. I don't know how buoyancy and all that shit works, but him jumping off of that should really have fucked that boat. Like, boom, submerged it a bit or something. They lands on a fucking battleship with one leg and jumps off of that. That absolutely should have fucking just sunk under his goddamn weight and nearly split in half from the impact of him landing on it. Then lands on a fucking aircraft carrier. That should have fucked that aircraft carrier too. And dented the goddamn top of it and fucking had it fucking half submerged before popping back up. But then, yeah, Godzilla climbs up on it for no reason, practically. Just they wanted to have a cool fight for the trailer, so that's what they did. And yeah, King Kong does some stuff, but Godzilla's too powerful. Godzilla ends up blowing the aircraft carrier up, like I said, with the atomic breath. King Kong's stranded in the water. Godzilla takes him down. He's going to drown him. And then they're like, oh, shit, what do we do? Oh, fuck. We got to get out of here. No, we can't. We got to save him and shit. And, of course, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And the scientist is the one who has the idea. She says, depth charges. So they fire off depth charges because the scientists have the idea. And they go in the water, and then there's a massive explosion. And then the King Kong comes up and fucking climbs onto the fucking thing, and he's all fucking tired and shit. And then Godzilla comes up. And they turn off the fucking power to the boat. And Godzilla fucks off. Because they're keeping their stupid ass fucking plot of goddamn Godzilla's the king of the monsters and wants to rule. And he's a fucking, they got some hierarchy bullshit going on because they're not monsters, they're smart monsters and have a society or something stupid like that. I don't know. It's fucking stupid, and they really got to stop with it because it's so stupid. But because they turn off the power and King Kong's knocked out, he takes that as a sign of submission, so he fucks off. Instead of killing him, he fucks off. Because this is stupid. And I already said before, I hate the term Titans. The term Titan is so goddamn overused in everything. And it's just horrible here. Thank God there was never any like there can only be one true king or some stupid shit, but that's because they didn't crown Kong king of anything for whatever reason. Okay, so going back to the depth charges thing. They don't explain why they're doing that or what it does, so we're left to assume. I assume the point of it was the explosion, like, disorients fucking King or Godzilla to make him let go. I don't know by what means, because the impact certainly didn't. He was too low by that point. I'm assuming the percussive blast, like the sound waves, hit him and shit and fucked him up. Didn't fuck him up for very long. And whatever it did to him, it should have done to King Kong as well. But whatever. So then they're like, well, if we turn on our power again, Godzilla's going to come back. So what do we do? And they're like, what does he think about heights? And I was like, no, they're not about to fly him. And sure enough, I think the B plot was going on at the same time at this point, but I'll come back to that because who cares? It takes forever for those two things to converge in any way, anyways. So the next thing you know, ospreys in the sky with ropes connected to them with a giant fucking cargo net with King Kong in it. The issue is, I think they said he was gonna... No, they didn't say he was gonna die, but... They were stranded, right? Near Antarctica, mind you. Near Antarctica. And they brought ospreys with a net to carry King Kong. So, the manpower required to get this net under King Kong is like fucking conceivable. Then how the fuck do you get it connected to the ospreys? Or are we to assume that I don't know. Maybe cargo ships can raise their shit up like a flat dump truck or a flatbed. Maybe they just had the net laying on the ocean with the ospreys, and they just raised the bed up, and Kong just slid onto it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they had nearly enough ospreys to carry him. And also, how the fuck do you get all these ospreys out toward Antarctica to this fucking stranded cargo ship with time? Because that would take a long time to set up, I would think. Weeks, right? So you need him not to starve. You need the people on the ship not to fucking starve. You need to get him off of there onto the cargo net. How do the ospreys get there? Because you have to fucking, I don't know, send aircraft carriers? I don't even know how ospreys go over the ocean. This scene is just so fucking contrived and impractical. How does this happen? How the fuck does this scene happen? How are they towing him through the sky? How did that scene come about? That's why they skipped it, because they know they couldn't fucking do it. But how did it happen, really? Fuck. Ugh. So that seems stupid. Now I'll tackle the B plot. All at one time. So, the girl that was so interesting from King of the Monsters, right? Whose mother was an idiot and worked with Monarch and caused everybody to fucking die, freaking King Ghidorah, right? That bitch is back. Okay? No one was interested in her in the first movie, so they brought her back in this one. Great. Her father's back, who is slightly more interesting. He's not even a factor. He's barely in this. And then she's got an annoying fat friend. Because, you know, I guess fat people need representation or something. And he's British. And he contributes nothing to this movie but some unnecessary comedy. Don't know why he's in it. He's not her boyfriend, but I assume that's the direction they're wanting to take the characters. But she could do better than a fucking fat cowardly dude, right? And that's literally his character, is he's fat and he's cowardly. He contributes nothing ever to anything. He's not a character. But they decide to go to fucking Thailand or New Zealand or something somewhere. No, Brazil. I think they went to Brazil. I don't fucking remember. Or the Philippines or some place like that. They're in like a fucking crowded ass shantytown market. And they go to some fucking fishmonger. And they're asking about a crazy fuck conspiracy, because she listens to a podcast of a conspiracy theorist. So she's asking about that. And the dude don't know. And then her fat friend gives the guy some money. And he's like, oh, I know who you're talking about. Buy some fish and I'll tell you where it's at. So they do. I guess the fat guy does contribute some things. But he's still not a character. So then they go to the dude's home and knock on the door. And the fat dude is like, I'm not here. I'll call the cops. And she's like, hey, I know you won't call the police because you don't trust them. Because you're a conspiracy theorist. And then she mentions her name. And then he opens the door because he recognizes the name as the name of the mother that died in King of the Monsters. And so they go to a restaurant and they, that's fucking my face so much. They start talking about Monarch, and Apex is the new organization stuff. And she thinks Apex is doing something to make Godzilla angry at humans. Because, you know, monsters never would attack people. That's not a thing. Um, God, I hate this fucking franchise so much. Legendary's franchise, not the original. The original's great. Um, and he agrees that Apex got to be doing something bad, so they're gonna go and they have a little thing about water, saying that if you drink tap water, people put stuff in it. Ha ha ha! Conspiracy theory shit. And the fat dude is docile because he drinks tap water. Ha ha ha! He's not a character. So they break into Apex and they go into doing some shit. I don't remember much of it, but they end up in a like container sort of, and it's got skull crawlers in it. And then the door. I thought all those were dead, but the doors close, and then they are bounding on the doors, which is stupid because they didn't want to get caught. And then they get sent on the fucking magnetic super international highway. Well, and at that point, I was just like, okay. So we're just going to throw logic and science out the door. Then at that point, why is Godzilla designed the way he is? He's so goddamn bottom heavy. You either stick with science all and try to make things realistic all the way, or you don't. But they're just they tried, and now they're just embracing everything, which is fine. It's gonna improve the series to embrace, the more fantastical elements that have presented themselves in the franchise and monster franchise in the past. But I just wish they'd done this from the beginning. Like Japan always had the big fucking satellites with lasers that would shoot Godzilla and shit. That shit was cool. You didn't need to fucking keep it super grounded. So this is fine. I just wish they would have done this from the beginning, so it wouldn't be coming out of nowhere the way it is. So they get King Kong to Antarctica. They put him down in a hollowed out area. There's a big hole. They want him to go in the hole. He won't go in the hole. So they have a little girl tell him that other monkeys are going to be down there. So he goes down there. They follow him with these big fucking magnetic ships. They just have thrusters that point down that have magnets, and they go and float, and they just start floating and shooting all about with magnetic shields on them and shit. And it's just like, where did this come from? What the fuck is this shit? It just came out of nowhere. Wish we could have built into this a little slower, but whatever. We're here now. King Kong sitting there fucking swinging and everything through this not cave system. I don't know what to call it. Oh, yeah, in Hollow Earth. Yeah. Oh, God. When I heard Hollow Earth, I was like, no, they can't do this. They can't do Hollow Earth theory and say that's the explanation for this shit. Oh, God. So we found out that the dude is a proponent, the black dude is a proponent of who the woman's daughter met, is a proponent of Hollow Earth theory, right? And that explains the monsters. And they brought King Kong so he can go into the Hollow Earth. So he's swinging about and they're following him, and then he fucking misses a fall. He misses a swing and he just falls. But hey, that's all right, because here's the hole he needed to go down anyways, apparently. And then the ships are going with him. And they start falling. And they're entering a free fall. And then there's a wormhole for no fucking reason. I was like, what the fuck is a wormhole doing here? What? Why is there a wormhole? But there's a wormhole. And they go through the wormhole. And then they're inside of Earth, apparently, you need a wormhole to get there. Except you don't, because later on. But right now you do. You need a wormhole to get there, apparently. Makes no fucking sense. So they go through. They're in a free fall. They get. They're shifting through. And they're falling, and then King Kong hits the side of a mountain and he's falling. And I was like, bro, if he's fucking free falling, he can't be grabbing the rocks and that'd be tearing his skin off. He should be fucking dying. He's grinding his body against the side of a cliff. The magnetic ships in a free fall and fucking do that. Where they come down, boom, and they fire forward. The issue with that is the momentum of you falling and then stopping like that should fucking splatter you against the fucking the fucking ground of your ship. So that doesn't make any sense. And then King Kong just starts going through the fucking Hollow Earth. And I guess this is a good time to explain Hollow Earth theory, because I actually did look into it for a little bit in 2016, because I was watching a lot of horror stuff on YouTube and stuff, and mystery stuff, and alien stuff, and conspiracy stuff. And I found Hollow Earth theory, and I was watching a YouTube video that had like text popping up and stuff, and it said this fighter pilot in World War II flew to the North Pole and found a giant hole in the earth, and he flew down there. And he was kept flying, and he found there was a whole ecosystem. And there was dinosaurs and shit. And then he flew back out and told people, and they didn't believe him. And for a little bit, I was like, you know what? That's going to be possible. And then I remembered, like, magnetism and magma and the core of the earth and, like, reality and physics. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's fucking stupid. It doesn't work. So the Hollow Earth theory is that there's our surface, and then there's the inverted surface, which is like prehistoric still, and the core of the Earth acts as a miniature sun, and there's the crust, and then there's just a little bit of magma between the crusts. So that explains volcanoes and stuff. What it doesn't explain is tectonic plates and earthquakes and shit like that, and physics, and how gravity works, and physics. Fucking physics. So, Hollow Earth doesn't work as an explanation for reality. And it's not going to work for this movie, because you need to explain fucking physics and fucking gravity and fucking magnetism and all of that. If we don't have all the magma and shit, how's that happen? How does that work? They kind of got into this already, I guess, because in Kong Skull Island, they said like there was tunnels that went way down into the earth and stuff, I guess. And then Godzilla had like a underwater civilization in King of the Monsters or something, where they nuked him to revive him or something. So stupid. But yeah, the scenery here is kind of cool, except it's stupid. So their take on Hollow Earth, King Kong gets up to this mountain at one point. And I'll keep getting into Hollow Earth here in a second. But he gets up on this mountain, and like here's the underside of Earth, and here's this mountain. Or no, actually, no, he's on the underside of Earth, and then there's this, whatever there's like a gap between them. Okay, he's on a mountain on the underside of Earth, and there's this fucking surface right here, and there's like where the gravities meet, and it's got rocks trapped there, and he touches a rock and it falls down into the gravity of the secondary body of Earth, I guess is what we'll call it. This is a piss poor explanation of Hollow Earth, if I've ever seen one. but uh, but uh, but uh, so it does that, and then he jumps into the gravity net, and he flips over, and he lands on the mountain, and it's got like a giant hand on it, and that's not explained in any way. And then he jumps back, and he keeps going. So the issue with this is like there's a secondary body underneath Earth. There's like Earth, and then there's a secondary body. If the secondary body isn't the fucking core of the Earth as the sun, then where is this light coming from? This doesn't make any fucking sense now, even compared to Hollow Earth. If you want to see Hollow Earth that works, play Halo Wars. Because you end up on this fucking Forerunner planet that's just like a shell with an artificial sun in it. And you're on the surface and it's covered by flood, and then you go inside and there's a covenant and flood in there. And it was like a station for ships and stuff. That works. That is like Hollow Earth. This is not. I don't know what this is, but it's not Hollow Earth. Because there's like a secondary Earth inside of it. So I don't know where this light's coming from. Are there artificial suns? Small local suns? Like the flat Earth theory? Like what the fuck is going on here? It's so stupid. This movie is so fucking stupid. Okay. I think the B plot keeps going at this point while he's running around Hollow Earth, not Hollow Earth. And they're in Hong Kong and they start looking around Hong Kong. Went from Brazil to Hong Kong through the Magnetic Highway, I think. And they're looking around and they end up in this giant fucking room. And they're like, there's a sacrificial chamber. And they find some skulls and shit. Or a skull with a vertebrae, I think. Man, that is really annoying. Man, that is really inconvenient. Fuck, no, I lost. Okay, they're in the sacrificial chamber. They're looking around. You already know there's gonna be something happening here. It's like a big arena or something, and then Mechagodzilla just starts like, well, I couldn't believe that, didn't I? The big robot starts coming up, and you're not sure what it is at first. You already have the idea even before I said it of what it's gonna be. It's like a Mechagodzilla, but it's like an endoskeleton. It's got like raunchy looking claws, gripping claws. Got like cheap vertebrae stuff. Like a flat mouth situation going on. It looks like the most janky Mechagodzilla you ever seen in your life. And then they release a giant skull crawler and it chases the people, and they get in this little fucking tube thingy. And the Mechagodzilla grabs it and raises it up and blasts it with atomic breath and cuts it in half. I already said what I wanted to see from Mechagodzilla. This was not it. Very disappointing. Get into that later. But yeah. There's a dude and he's like so proud of his shit. And the people end up coming up in there and then they get like taken hostage or something. And I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I don't really care. And when the Mechagodzilla kills the Skullcrawler, Godzilla notices it, changes direction, and people are like, oh shit, he changed direction, what's going on? Because they don't know about Mechagodzilla. So then we got him back to Kong, and finds a giant temple. And he goes in the temple. There was a big handprint. He put it on the handprint, and it's magic, and it opens the temple. And so through fucking the magic, there's giant fucking pillars and shit and all kinds of stuff carved into this temple. Giant monkeys couldn't have done this no matter how smart you want to say they were. No. He finds the trailer axe, pulls it out like a Godzilla skull or something. And he fucking goes and he like sits down on like some kind of a throne situation conjoined with a fucking pillar. And he takes the axe and he puts it in the ground. And the ground turns blue and it starts like sucking out energy from the earth, I think. For some reason, energy from the earth is blue, I guess. And Godzilla notices it for some reason. And then blasts down into the earth. And carves a giant fucking hole into the earth to blast King Kong, I guess. And now the axe is glowing blue for some reason. I guess because it's a Godzilla scale, back scale. And I fucking guess that they think Godzilla's atomic radiation is like what powers the Earth, but it's not. And I don't think the core of the Earth is blue. I don't think the core of Hollow Earth is blue either. So I don't know why the ground turned blue. But Godzilla fires into the fucking Earth and fucking blasts under King Kong up into the temple. Because you gotta remember they're like standing on a surface like that. But like the beam coming from his mouth made a hole like this fucking big. Like 20 times bigger than either of them are. And then like the fucking people who were following King Kong from Monarch and Apex and the soldiers betray them and pull guns on them, and King Kong was going to kill them. But then this happened and it started bringing the temple down. So the lady runs back to the magnet ship. And they're right next to him, by the way. But then when we cut from Godzilla blasting into the earth to back, there's these giant owl things that are coming and grabbing them, and they're like all of a sudden a mile away from the ships for no fucking reason. And the owls are picking them off. This woman that I neglected to mention earlier, who's like the daughter of the leader of Apex or something, I didn't care enough about her to take note of who she was. She's trying to fly through the hole to get back to the... Not through the hole they came through, but through the hole Godzilla just burned into the fucking ground, because that's smart. Fly toward Godzilla. And King Kong is like slightly in their way, so she's like, shoot him! And they shoot him, and it pisses him off. And as they start going down, he just grabs him and crushes him. Because, you know, that was smart. Oh, yeah, and they used a little drone to take a sample of the atomic ground. And for whatever reason, this scientist lady like flipped out like, oh, you can't take that. You can't mine the resources. It's not yours. It's like, bro, she's taking a little piece of it. Shut the fuck up. They're just taking a little piece right now. Deal with that later. They're taking a little piece. Don't worry about that. That's why they pulled the guns on them in the first place. So that was stupid. But yeah, the owls start picking them off, but they get back on their ship because of course they do. And they fucking follow King Kong as he rides through the hole, because I guess they didn't research Hollow Earth enough to know that there's a little bit of magma in between the crusts. This has no magma. Or maybe atomic breath caused the magma to fucking like harden for some reason. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But yeah, he rides through the hole. Clearly, the atomic breath turning melting through the ground. The ground isn't gonna be hot or anything after. So he's just riding through with his. Or no. No, he doesn't ride through. He fucking jumps down and uses his axe to ride. Ride it. Like that. I think. If I remember correctly. And then I think he turns around and he climbs out the other way. I don't fucking. This is so stupid. This movie was so fucking stupid. It makes no sense. Hollow Earth doesn't work. And now they're in the city and they're going to fight. And they fight. And they have Godzilla do better than I was expecting. Which they should have. Godzilla shouldn't have even struggled as much as he did in this movie, but at least they didn't try to make it a fucking King Kong fucking jerk fest. So, I don't remember much of the fight. They're fighting, and he's swinging the axe, and he hits Godzilla sometimes, and he's avoiding the atomic breath just barely each time, pushing Godzilla around. They make Godzilla look really clumsy, making him slam into buildings and charge failed charges and shit. Which is not how they've portrayed him thus far. But eventually, he uses a tail whip and stuff, and he gets the fucking axe away from King Kong, and he finally hits King Kong with like an atomic blast across his fucking back. King Kong gets the axe and they goes to charge. Godzilla's like, the fucking magic axe can like absorb atomic breath because again it's a scale or something. And there's a scene that's really stupid where King Kong goes up like this. He's blasting the atomic breath from Godzilla like that, and then he raises it above his head, and for some reason Godzilla is still blasting it and not him, and he swings it and it causes it to detonate and explode or something, and they both go down. At that point, King Kong no longer has an axe, so Godzilla like starts beating the shit out of him. He grabs his hand and like rips his fucking shoulder out of place, scratches the fuck out of his chest, fucks one of his legs up somehow, and King Kong is like totally fucked. And ends up left to fucking die. Just laying there and can't do anything, and Godzilla's ready to kill him with a big atomic breath, and then just stops because King Kong's beaten. And why would he kill him? He's only a monster. Why would he kill King Kong? Ugh. And then Mechagodzilla is like, it's revealed that it's being controlled by King Ghidorah's head. They're using that skull, and they attach things to the skull to this dude's head. And they're saying that the heads communicate psionically through telepathy. So they're using the skull to use the psionic waves to control Mechagodzilla. The issue is it's a fucking skull, and it shouldn't have psionic powers, but okay. But it ends up frying the dude's brain because they add in the blue power from that King Kong was getting, and it like fries his brain, and now Mechagodzilla is essentially just being controlled by King Ghidorah. So it blasts through the ground, and it's got a red atomic breath. And it comes up out the ground, and it fucking faces off the Godzilla, and it fires missiles from shoulder missile launchers, which is what I wanted to see from this. As I said before, I wanted to see a more grounded, practical Mechagodzilla. Maybe it has a mouth blast it uses one time, because it's all it can do. Like, all the power is diverted to its mouth and blast one time. But I wanted to see a Mechagodzilla with missile launchers and fucking, like, artillery batteries and fucking rail guns and like and using munitions as a means to counter Godzilla, right? And a big pile bunker on its arm. Just go boom, right? Big impact. Can blow a fucking punch a hole right into Godzilla. And maybe a mouth blast. One time. All power once. Right? That was my idea for Mechagodzilla. American Mechagodzilla. Never thought they would just do this. It's not bad. It's just you can't go up. The thing about Mechagodzilla is Mechagodzilla is always inferior to Godzilla. And so it uses practical human weapons to make up for what it lacks in raw power. But since they already have an atomic breath and set a precedent for Mechagodzilla being as strong as Godzilla, here, now they don't have anywhere to go up. Yeah, they can add cannons and guns to it, but who cares? Its atomic breath already matches Godzilla's. So you can't really go up that much. You can add a little bit of flair to it, but there's nowhere to go up, right? You're not going to make its base trait more powerful because it's going to be stronger than Godzilla, and Godzilla can't beat it. You know, seeing Pacific Rim, I expected something more grounded, something more like Pacific Rim, and instead they just went too far. So Mechagodzilla has like thrusters that can help with its punching and stuff, which I expected. That's cool. That fits. But it's got atomic breath. It's beating the shit out of Godzilla, slamming in buildings. They have a beam struggle. It blasts him in the fucking face and blows Godzilla away. It's beating the fuck out of him. They use the big magnet ship. They set it on King Kong. They're saying he's dying. The girl feels the ground and feels his heartbeat stopping. And so they fucking use the big magnetic pulse to restart his heart, which brings him to life, and I fucking guess gives him stamina and energy for some reason, because he was beat to all shit, half dead, and all they remembered is he has a busted shoulder. So he slams his shoulder into a building, and then he has to reset it. But he when he tried to stand up against Godzilla, he like only could stand on one leg. His other leg was fucked, and now it's fine, I guess. And he forgot that he was tired and just got his ass kicked. Godzilla's only losing to Mechagodzilla because he's weakened from the fight with King Kong, obviously. And that's the story they're trying to tell. These two monsters beat each other half to death, and now both half dead have to beat Mechagodzilla. The issue is they forget that they're fucking half dead, and King Kong comes running in and fucking tackles it and starts beating the shit out of it, and they start grabbing it and trying to rip it in half and shit. Like they aren't injured already. Like they aren't hurt and beat to shit. At least Godzilla has a fucking healing factor. King Kong doesn't. But they're doing some stuff, and fucking Mechagodzilla ends up knocking Godzilla off of it. And then King Kong keeps fighting it, and it gets the axe. And King Kong starts beating Mechagodzilla with the axe, but it's not working. Mechagodzilla ends up getting ready to hit it with atomic breath. And when it woke up, it ate the like evil dude, right? Or something. Or it might have atomic breath to him. I don't remember. No, it couldn't have, because that would have killed everybody else. So I think it ate him for some reason. Or punched him or something. I don't remember. But they start fucking with the computer trying to shut down the psionic connection, right? And the dude is like going to drink some alcohol because he's afraid he's going to die. And then the fat dude takes it and pours it on the machinery. And that causes a lag, which stops the atomic breath. And then Godzilla sees an opening to fire its atomic breath. And instead of shooting Mechagodzilla and killing it, shoots the axe for no fucking reason. And powers up the axe, I guess. Because if it's blue, it's stronger or something. And then King Kong starts chopping up Mechagodzilla and then rips off its head so that they can say that King Kong beat Godzilla. I guess. And then King Kong remembers that he got his ass kicked and almost died and falls down exhausted. But he forgot that against Mechagodzilla, clearly. And then Godzilla's coming to fight King Kong. King Kong gets up and they're staring at each other and drops the axe. And then Godzilla walks away and goes to the ocean. And that was the end of the movie. Didn't watch for... I was fast forwarding, but I was using like a fucking streaming service. So I don't know if there was a after credit scene or not. Have to wait and find out another time. But yeah. That was pretty much the whole movie. Oh no, yeah. King Kong is now in the Hollow Earth, running around, I guess. And that's the end. And I don't know if there's an after credit scene. So, where does this leave this going for the future? Well, like I said, if they try to make another Mechagodzilla, they're only gonna be able to add fucking minor things that make it cooler, but they can't give it not atomic breath now. They already went too far with giving it fully functioning atomic breath equal to Godzilla's. That was a huge mistake, and they're going to feel that for a long... Just like they're going to feel killing King Ghidorah right away, they're going to feel this. They're going to feel blowing Mechagodzilla in this movie, in this way, making it this powerful. Oh, fuck. Someone's here. God damn it. Okay, I'll have to wrap this up in a part 2.